We ready to go outside and sleep? Yes? Yes? Okay, welcome to the 5th annual Waypoint Sleepout. My name is Jorge, I'm President and CEO of Waypoint. And on behalf of all of us at Waypoint, but mostly on behalf of the homeless youth that we serve, I want to thank all of you for being here today. And I want to thank all of you for raising awareness, and most important, raising funds. And we'll talk about the funds. It's a fun part. There's a say out there that if you are not counted, you don't count. Probably have heard that say. Well, the University of Chicago did a lot of counting. And they went all over the country and they counted homeless youth. And it was rural and urban across the nation. And this is the research that they came up with. 1 in 10 youth ages 18 to 25, and 1 in 30 ages 14 to 17 experience homelessness every year in the United States. So we're good at math. So we actually transpose that to New Hampshire, and it means there's 16,000 kids, youth, that are homeless at any point in New Hampshire. Now, Waypoint serves in Manchester and the Seacoast around 1,500, 2,000, roughly. So there are many, many, many youth that are out there that are sort of below sort of the radar and that don't get services from us. And our goal is really to get to every single youth that we can. Youth that are served come actually they're escaping situations of abuse and violence and neglect. The youth that we serve have sometimes parents that struggle with mental health or substance abuse, and themselves also struggle with mental health and substance abuse. They sometimes are pregnant. And that was, I remember the beginnings of my tenure here at Waypoint when I went to the youth center and they were, pregnant and youth with little kids. And I was like, that's awful. And there's also the whole group of youth that are sort of ostracized because of their sexual orientation, their sexual identity. And it's disproportionate how many of those end up homeless. Now, Waypoint, as you probably know, is the only provider of runaway and homeless youth services in New Hampshire. The only agency that is that. And in the last 2 years, there's been federal cuts, and we have lost $280,000 between both contracts. And it is not because the need is not here. It is not because we do a bad job. To the contrary, we're excellent programs. It is not because there's another provider here that actually got that contract. It is not. That was my concern, because we write back proposals, because we got 95 and 97 points out of 100. It's because there's not enough funding. And because they end up giving maybe 40 awards across the United States, but there's 500 applications. So we got the contract for 10 years, and then we lost it. And maybe they gave it to Rhode Island. So as you can imagine, when we found that out, $280,000 was a significant cut. 2 things happened. Our staff and our board renewed their commitment to this population, because we know that we're the only ones. If we disappear, we're not, they're not served. But there's another thing that happened, which is that suddenly the sleep out and the success of this sleep out was imperative to remain in business. So, now the good news is that thanks to all of you here and your families and your business partners and your friends, if you still have friends. That's one of the problems of higher running this fundraiser. It's like, are we going to lose all of our friends? But thanks to those efforts, we have raised $329,000. This is really, one of the things that this is going to do immediately for me. Well, maybe not tonight, but it's going to really help me sleep better. Tonight might be a little more difficult, but in the future, because what it means is I don't have to lay off any of these fabulous stuff that are here. I can continue to do the program. We can continue to be doing outreach to find these kids in the parks, by the river, in abandoned buildings, and actually serve them and connect them to the services and that they need. So I want to thank all of you, but there's a number of people that I want specifically to thank, and this is where I get the list, because I get in trouble if I miss something. Groups that have really committed incredible resources. The applause at the end. So, Proclon, Bank of America, Rock 101, Velcro USA, Rockport Mortgage Corporation, Alumni Ventures Group, United Healthcare, M&T Bank, Eversource, and then there's one board member that has been the biggest fundraiser for 5 years, every single one of those years. Can you stand, Luke? Where are you? Luke, I know you hate these, but I'm sorry. Is that most of his donors have not been in New Hampshire in years. They have no connection with New Hampshire. But it's really about the power of convincing and the power of the story of what we are doing here. Now, the other thing that I am honored, excited, and proud is the fact that we have, our political leaders here join us. And I venture to say that there's not any other state that can get the caliber of people committed, caring about this issue like the people that we have here today. So thank you. So we have Mayor Joyce Craig, who's doing Congressman Chris Papas. This is I think he started office at some point in January, whatever, 5th, 6th. The following week, he was visiting a center and signing up for Sleeping Out. So he really started running and really committed. And Governor Chris Sununu, who's done this, has talked about this issue in many, 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 many public forums. And we'll talk about the need for New Hampshire to do something. So I'm going to invite the three of you to come up here and share some words with you. So maybe you start. Mayor, thank you.
So it's a pleasure to be here with all of you tonight and to see a packed room participating in this evening's event. As you heard, I did participate last year, and it was an amazing, eye-opening experience. I really got a better understanding of what homeless individuals are dealing with. Not being able to sleep, being cold, questioning the safety, and then getting up the next morning and trying to function. It's impossible, and yet that's the expectation that we have for individuals. And I'm very grateful to Aaron and all that you've done in terms of opening my eyes and introducing me to the drop-in center and allowing me to participate in efforts with outreach. So again, grateful, immensely grateful for all of you being here and participating. And I do want to just mention that school board member Jamila, who is participating for how many times now?
It's the fourth.
Fourth.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Waypoint for their incredible work in assembling this, and to all the incredible supporters here who make this possible, to Lou and all the rest who have done their part in raising funds for this, and doing our part to raise awareness about the problems that exist in our state. We like to talk about the positive statistics of New Hampshire, whether it's the low unemployment rate or the high per capita income. But those are only so good if all individuals are sharing in the success of this state. And we can't stand pat if we're having the levels of homelessness that we're seeing in communities across this state. This is a problem that affects big cities like Manchester and small towns. It affects individuals of all ages. Certainly it's impacting our veteran population. We've got to make sure that individuals have access to the services that they need. And the youth services at Waypoint are just absolutely critical to making sure that individuals can lead healthy and successful lives. And so this is an important evening to put ourselves in someone else's shoes, to be able to tell people about the experiences that we've had out there. It certainly doesn't rival the experience that homeless individuals go through on a regular basis, the uncertainty that they face, the crises that they face in their lives. But in raising some funds and raising some awareness, we can help create a better outcome for individuals all across our state, and make sure that we keep the conversation going, leave no one behind in New Hampshire. So thank you very much for the work that you all do.
It is great to see so many folks here. I was sitting there thinking, I've got a packed room, right? Which is great. And if for those of you who know me, I am not, even as governor, I am not too proud to shame people into doing things, to guilt them into it. And last year I really got my commissioners riled up when I don't know, maybe it was my state of the state, I don't know what it was. But I basically said, you're all coming with me. And the Attorney General said, well, you can't make them do that. I said, no, I can't make them, but they'll do it. And they did. It was great. And then we came out and they raised a lot of money. And this year I didn't want to strong arm anybody, but 4 or 5 more commissioners joined us again this year, which was awesome. And where's Commissioner Merrifield from the Department of Labor this year? And where's Dennis Goulet, Commissioner of Information Technology? We got Dennis. And we got the commissioner to be elected. It's going to happen, don't worry. Bob Quinn from safety. And then there's that Manchester guy, the big Greek running employment security, the indomitable George Kapatis. George did this all raising like 14 grand. God bless him. So my point is, you all know somebody you could get out here next year. And I don't care what it takes. Shame them on social media. Guilt them into not doing enough, right? Whatever it takes, it really, really does matter. Because remember, when you bring somebody out, you're asking them not just to raise a little bit of money, but they're going to go to their friends, and their friends are going to say, well, what is this? Well, what are we giving money to? This sounds good. And then maybe they get 2 friends, and they get 2 friends. That is how it grows, right? That's the benefit of this program. We have a couple tents out there this year, or tents, I don't know what you call those things. Yeah, like those things are going to keep the rain off you? No way, you're all getting soaked. Oh, the snow is better. For me, I'm a ski guy. I don't know what you're thinking. Look, one thing I found last year, too, when you're out there, it's hard. As Mayor Crick said, it's really, there's very little sleeping. You hear noises, you have the lights, there's the safety issue, all this stuff. This year we're going to compound it with wind and a little colder and a lot wetter, right? And then let's remember, you add the co-occurring issues. You have folks that are fighting drug addiction. You have folks out there with these same issues on these same nights that are dealing with mental illness or whatever it might be. And as the mayor said, they wake up, they don't go home and take a hot shower. Most of us will get to do that. They don't. Day after day after day. And as good as the statistics might be, lowest poverty rate in the country, lowest unemployment, those are wonderful things. But there are hundreds of kids out there that are couch surfing, that are going door to door, that are doing whatever they can just to get into the next day. So what you guys have really done for Waypoint, do you guys know how long have you guys been around? Well, not Waypoint.
1850.
1850. 1850, one of the longest serving organizations doing this work, still going today. That is a source of pride for us here in the Granite State. And the other thing I want to push really quick too is, I don't care, how many are from Manchester? right? How many are from north of Concord? Anyone here north of Concord? A couple? Yeah, there's not a single city or town in this state this issue doesn't affect, right? I live in a town of 1,500 people, very well off town, Newfields, right? I'm on one side, Maggie's on the other. She's on the other side of the neighborhood, God bless her. It's a great, great little town. There is homelessness in that town. There's homelessness in Portsmouth. There's homelessness in Hanover. There's homelessness issues in every single town. You don't see it. It's not always right in your face. It is not just a Manchester issue. It is obviously concentrated here. This is an issue, big issue here in Nashua, Concord, very much so. But at the end of the day, there's not a single town and not a single community where this doesn't affect folks. So get folks involved. Get them down here. It's a great way to show a little bit of Granite State pride and remind folks that every single community is affected. So cannot thank you guys enough. You're 100, I got to figure this out, 9 years? 169 years? Holy cow. That's amazing. Look, 169 down, 169 right? Keep doing the great stuff.
Hello, everyone. I am Erin Kelly. I have the honor of being the Director of Homeless Youth Services and the Human Trafficking Program here at Waypoint. And you have heard from me year after year about the work we do at Waypoint and all the ways that we help young people and try to reach out to meet the needs of the most vulnerable young people in our communities. This year, as Borja said, this was a crucial event for us because we have staff who are in the front lines of doing this work every day. And we were seriously having those conversations at Waypoint about having to shrink programming, having to serve less people, and having to lay off staff. And because of all of you, we don't have to have those conversations anymore. And instead of me continuing to talk about the work that I do, I am going to invite my staff up so that they can each take a moment to talk about the work that they do, because truly they're on the front lines of this, working directly with young people experiencing homelessness in New Hampshire every day. And I'm so grateful for the work that they do, and it's important to me that you all hear it directly from them. Come on up.
Hi all. So my name is Mandy Lancaster, and I am a program manager with Waypoint's Runaway and Homeless Youth Programs. And I have the honor of serving young people and working with staff throughout the Seacoast communities, as well as Concord and Littleton. So as you've heard from Borja and Erin, despite the fact that we lost 2 critical federal, very competitive grants during last year's, by way of last year's Sleepout efforts, we were able to do some really incredible things with the money that we raised. So I wanted to share some of that with you. Okay, so 4 areas of investment by way of all of your support. We were able to invest in a statewide collaborative effort to work towards ending and preventing youth homelessness. We were also able to increase investment into host homes that support young people under the age of 18. We were also able to provide immediate access to critical mental health supports to young people and our centers in need. And we were able to continue to invest in our staff development and their skills. So that's also very critical to what we do. So this evening, I have the pleasure of introducing some really wonderful, dynamic, caring, creative youth workers that make up the continuum at Waypoint.
Hello everyone, my name is Chelsea Gomes and I am the Transitional Living Program Care Coordinator for the Concord location. In 2018, I met a 19-year-old trans-identifying male, Kyle, who was sleeping on the floor in an overcrowded apartment in Manchester. Kyle moved into our Concord home and during his time has been able to access mental health services, has obtained a primary care physician for the first time ever in his life, and has received appropriate gender-affirming health care. Kyle will graduate from our program in August, and he hopes to pursue a career in culinary arts.
Hi everyone, my name is Alyssa Clement and I am a case manager with the Street Outreach Program on the Seacoast. This past year I was lucky to meet a young man by the name of Andrew, 18 years old, who had access to emergency mental health supports at a local hospital. And after receiving supports there, was being discharged into homelessness. And after working together, I was able to connect him to 4 different shelter systems across 3 different states while we waited for stable housing. Helped him apply for food stamps and health insurance. Started the referral process for those critical mental health supports. And I'm happy to say that just recently, we're able to offer him a space in one of our transitional living programs on the Seacoast where he currently is today.
Hello everyone, my name is Ellie Hewa and I am the Runaway and Homeless Youth Social Worker here in Manchester. And this last year I worked with a 16-year-old youth named Madison, whose guardian lives in another state. During this year I was able to connect her to mental health services. We assessed her academic needs and I helped to connect her to the appropriate academic supports. And I was able to safely stabilize her through our emergency placements while we found more stable housing for her, and she's now in a safe environment.
My name is Emmett LeBlanc. I'm one of the residential mentors for the Concord Transitional Living Program home, and I get to interact with the youth on a daily basis. I have up to 3 young men at a time, and they're all working on various different types of goals, but my main responsibility is to kind of just mentor and kind of be there for them in different ways and show them independent life skills like how to cook, how to clean, but also teaching them how to have fun, like go snowboarding and some really great day trips and just kind of be young adults. It's really fun.
Hi everyone, my name is Allison Ritter and I am the Runaway and Homeless Youth Social Worker on the Seacoast. I had the pleasure of working with a 17-year-old named Megan, and she was very close to graduating when her family became homeless and had to move out of state. And it's also important to mention that they have immigrated to this country, so they didn't have a whole lot of supports here when they came. I was able to connect her through our emergency housing and was able to keep her on the Seacoast so that she is able to graduate in June.
My name is Bree McLaughlin. I'm the program manager for our awesome Manchester team. It's an honor to be a part of the work that we do. I just wanted to acknowledge and hope that all of you could hear the pride that we have in our work and our youth. I hope that came across. I think it did. We're really relational and do our work through our hearts. So thank you so much for being here, being part of this. Like Aaron had said, we don't have to have those critical conversations, and we get to keep all these lovely folks and not compromise our programs, which is absolutely necessary for our young people. So thank you so much for being part of this. We really appreciate it.
So people know what you're wearing. So these, if you see these jackets, this is what they wear when they go outside. And actually the mayor has been in one of those trips. I don't know if you wore one of those jackets, but so they go out, and you can turn around. And they go out and they actually identify themselves by the jackets as the outreach team. And they find these youth. And because they have the experience, they know exactly where the youth are. And they recognize the jackets and approach them as they walk the streets. So thank you for what you do every day. Okay, so before we get our staff and sort of start moving and find a spot, there's a couple of things that I wanted to remind people. most important, there's bathrooms there, there's bathrooms down by the reception. And the hotel is really wonderful with us. And by the way, they donate for free, and the food and the coffee. And the coffee that you have tomorrow morning is the best coffee you've ever had. It feels incredible. But before we do that, there's a couple of things I want to remind people. One is we would really encourage all of you to use social media, whatever social media you use, and please do the hashtag #NoRestUntil as you post. We're going to have actually pictures and video throughout the night. So if at 2 in the morning you can't sleep and feel inspired to say something and your hair is not too messy, you can actually call someone and they'll put a camera in front of your face and you'll get to share a reflection in the middle of the night. We also want to make sure that everybody is safe. So there is a whole team that is remaining awake, and if there's anything that you have, please raise your hand and someone's going to be there helping you. And lastly, for those of you who are veterans, you know how this works, but we actually will come back in the morning. The morning, for those of you who have not slept, is a very fascinating thing that happens. There's a couple of people that move, and then suddenly everybody at the same time moves and gets up and comes here. And then, so we'll have coffee and croissant pastries, and just share sort of a moment of reflection around what this has meant to all of you. And it's actually very powerful. I really encourage you to think about sharing with people. As the governor was saying, it's a little windy, and because it's a little windy, we were not able to lay the tarp and the cardboard. So you're going to actually have to do it yourself. So because it's windy, do you know how when you go to the beach and you have your towel and it's really windy and you can't lay, you just like hold it like this and jump on it. We might need to do that. And we can help each other also hold the tarp and the cardboard, but they're actually piled under the tents, and just grab something and find a space. And before we do that, what we want to do is a tradition. Kat is where's Kat? Is the picture we're going to do out on the hall. We're going to have a picture of all of us, which we do every year, and we put on Facebook. And then grab your stuff, use the bathroom, and then go outside and find a spot. Thank you again for being here.
Everybody wicked happy to be here.